All right, here we are. We are going to solve again for some more equations with variables on both sides, a little more complicated this time, and I'm hoping to make this a little bit shorter. So let's get started here. First, the golden rule of algebra, which is over here on the side here, says what you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. Let's keep that in mind while we build our equation. I'm telling you, the answer is x equals 3. That is your answer. Let's go ahead and follow the steps 1, 2, and 3 and build an equation before we do that. How does a pig get to the hospital? That would be in a hambulance. Hambulance. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll be here all week. Let's multiply both sides of the equation by 2 first. Here we go. 2 times x is, that's right, 2x, and 2 times 3 is, lovely. Moving forward, we're going to follow, again, let me just say, the answer is still 3. The solution to our equation is still 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, that's going to be the case as we go through these, as we build our equation. Let's subtract 3 from both sides of the equation. There's once. There it is on the other side. We follow the golden rule of algebra. Okay, we can combine like terms. You do know what 6 minus 3 is on the right, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we have our equation. This is getting a little messy, and I apologize for that. It should be a little better. But bear with me here. Okay, we're going to add 5x to both sides of the equation. Add 5x to both sides of the equation. It should look like okay, again, what we've done on one side of the equation, we did to the other. The world is still in balance. We're all happy. We can, on the left side of the equation this time, combine our variables, our x's. 2x and 5x is 7x. Okay, so let's write out our final equation. I'm going to put this in blue. And I want us now to solve this. And as we solve, we can go back and look at how we are actually undoing what we just did. We undid those 3 steps. Let me show you what I mean by. First thing I want to do is get rid of that minus 3. I'm going to undo it by using inverse operations. I'm going to add 3 to both sides of the equation. Lovely. And we have great. Notice how adding 3 is the opposite of what we did in step number 2. Subtracting 3. Inverse operations. Voila. Next thing, we're going to subtract 5x from the right and the left, both sides of the equation. Awesome. Notice how subtracting 5x from both sides of the equation is the opposite of step number 3, which is adding 5x. Right there. Okay. The last thing we're going to do is the opposite of step 1, which was multiply both sides of the equation. We're going to need to divide both sides of the equation by our coefficient. Sloppily, I kind of threw that x equals 3 on the right. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to show you how we're using inverse operations to solve. Okay. Scrolling down, I want you to take a look. Pause your video. Take a look at the equation right there, and tell me what went wrong. Okay. Assuming you just paused, I want you to. This is a common error where people manipulate the same side of the equation twice in a row and make that equal sign disappear. We have subtraction of 3x, great, which is a fine first step, but then we want an added 8 and kind of pushed everything, the constants and the variables. That's a problem that we normally have. We don't want to take a second and pause and solve it how you would. Okay, hopefully you paused. I just paused. I don't know why. I didn't need to pause. Sorry. I'm going to add 8 first. I'm going to add 8 first. I know my goal is to get the x alone. I'm going to add 8 which is the opposite of that minus 8, because I don't like negatives. See how that looks. Remember, you could have done this differently. Let's see what you got as your final answer. Those become 0. Awesome. And next thing we're going to need to do is, rather than going, I started on the left side by adding 8 and back to the left side again, I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to subtract 5x, which is the opposite of the addition of 5x. And we have this easy one step, which I'm assuming we are all able to do. We are going to divide by the coefficient, -2. And that's our answer. We're all good. All right, so this time I'm going to ask you, that's about 6 minutes, that's great. I'm going to ask you to pause. Try number 1. I'll show you how I did it. You can check your answer. Pause, do number 2, and so on. So go ahead and pause and try number 1. Paused. I'm going to go ahead and following these steps. There's nothing to distribute first. So what I'm going to need to do is combine like terms. Combine like terms. Great. That line down the middle is to separate the left side from the right side of the equation. Put that in there. Next, I'm going to add 10. Finally, I subtracted x. I suppose that wasn't finally. Finally, now, this time, finally, I'm going to divide by the coefficient, which is 5. There we go. You might have done things in a different order than I did. That's fine. Check to make sure that isolating x in an appropriate fashion. Go ahead and pause and try number 2. I see that I need to distribute first. I have to distribute first. And now I need to combine like terms. We teach very close to DC. We're not exactly in DC, but we're close, and that we can use the D and the C to help us remember the order in which we need to solve this equation. Sorry. 6x and 2x is 8x. I'm going to add x to both sides. I don't like negatives. Subtract my constant from the left. There I am dividing by my coefficient. Go ahead and pause. Take a look at number 3. You're going to have to combine like terms. There's your hint. Pause. All I did there was combine like terms. I made it something that looked really kind of awkward and long, a little nicer. I'm going to add 4. I don't like negatives. Now I'm going to subtract 2x. Okay, no crying on me because the answer is a fraction. Fractions are numbers too. If we have been modeling these things appropriately, just fine. When you see that 4 divided by 4 becomes 1, 1x equals that fraction, 13 over 4. Some teachers might want you to make that a mixed number. Some teachers might want you to make the decimal equivalent. I'm fine with this for now. We're going to be learning something called slope later, and that's how you represent slope. Last, number 4, pause and give it a shot. Follow your steps. Okay, assuming that you paused. We are distributing first. Combining like terms second, I'm going to do that on the left and the right at the same time. I got two negatives, so I can't, and this is going to happen. You're going to have negatives eventually. So I'm just going to pick one of them. I'm going to pick the 6x and add to both sides. Add 10. Divided by our coefficient. We're done. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. We'll talk about this at length in the next class, and we'll have lots of practice.